Hi all. Where to start? Wow. I've been with my fiance for 4 years, and we've been living together for the last 2 years in a house that we bought together. We were supposed to get married this July, but we had a situation where her parents just turned on me. It all started when my fiance and her mom went to take a look at her wedding dress. As they were in the car, her mom would constantly ask her how much we were paying for makeup artist, dress, photographer, restaurant, and our spending budget for the wedding. My fiance gave her all the details. Her mom did not take it well that we're spending about $22,000 on our wedding. Note the fact that we did not ask them for any sort of financial support or giving us any sort of big gifts for our wedding. That night, her mom talked to her dad about how unhappy she was after finding out about our wedding budget. He asked my fiance to call me over to talk about our finances. When I received my fiance's telephone call, I was not happy to know that her in-law wanted to butt into our business, but I am respectful of them as my future in-laws, so I agree to meet. When we arrive at her parents', just getting off of work, they were telling me how I'm being so wasteful using money on good photographer and why we had to invited so many guests, about 190, and that we should consider inviting just family and that's it. Then he went on about why my fiance is paying 60% of the budget and that typically it should be split. I politely, calmly listened, even though I was steaming inside, to think that her parents have the nerve to say all of that. So after they were done talking, I responded. First and foremost, I know that you are concerned for your daughter and my financial well-being, and you have our best interest in mind. But this is a budget that we've worked out, talk, discuss, and agree upon between me and your daughter. We are not asking you for any financial backing or gifts. We just wanted you to attend the wedding carefree and be a part of our special day. Again, please understand that this is our wedding, and this is what she wanted. And if she's not pleased with what we've agreed upon, then we can make changes, but this is still between me and her. While we value your opinion, this is our decision, and we'll discuss this as a couple, and you should not get involved. As to why she's paying 60% of the budget, it's because I'm paying the mortgage to our house and have been handling all the maintenance costs to bring our house to living conditions. So I won't have the ability to cover any more than that, while her role in our relationship is to buy food and pay for water, electric bill. So she should be able to save more than I can. Also, we're living together already and already have shared everything except of joint bank account. Any gifts, whether it's cash or items from our wedding, belong to the both of us, so it doesn't really matter who pays more or less. We both discuss and have agreed. So now that you're trying to jump in and to control our finances is not right, and I am not pleased that you are second-guessing our decision as if this were your wedding. Please note, I responded in low-toned and calm voice. Her parents started to bash my family and how I have to somewhat support my dad who is 86 years old and that spending all of this money is irresponsible. I let her parents finish, then told them that they cannot bring my family into this because it is not right, as we are not asking any or either side of our families for financial support. We bought our house and have been living independently for the last 2 years, and feel like they are so possessive of my fiancé and her financial that they are going crazy. While all of this is happening, my fiancé is just sitting there and not saying anything, which made me kind of sad, disappointed because I would expect her to defend our decision or at least speak up on our or my behalf, because her parents had no right. Also, her parents do not want her to have a joint bank account with me, and they feel she should have control of her own money. After that, I just stopped talking and told them that if they feel like they are not happy about the budget, me and her will go over it, and if she is unhappy with some of the stuff that we chose, we can make changes if needed. And her mom and dad were taking turns making these demands. It was no longer suggesting, or we should do this. It was more like, I want less people and I want you to put out more. We went home and we went over the budget again. She made some changes and we agreed on it. Then she turned to me and said, "Do you understand what my parents were trying to get through to you?" I said, "No, not really. It's not right for them to be butting into our business. We're adults. We should be able to make our own decisions." Then I told her, hey, if in the future that we have any sort of major issues, decisions, or anything regarded to finances, that we should discuss them privately in our own household and not let her parents intervene. She looked at me in disgust and said that she don't care what I want and that she will tell and discuss anything with her parents that she pleases. I told her too, she shouldn't do that because we are a separate family and we should be making and owning our decisions and not letting anyone dictate or question it. It should be between us only. She disagreed. Then I lost it and I told her that if this is how it is going forward, I cannot build any sort of family with her since she's okay with her parents running her life. I'm not telling her not to share, talk to her parents. But there are some things you as a couple want to discuss and keep private. Also, if a sensitive topic is shared, then the communication should be between her and her parents. If they want to give input, then she can come home and we can talk about it. But for her parents to flat out and jump in as if it's their business, I don't feel it's right. So I called off the wedding the next day and ended our relationship 2 days after that. Of course, she begged and cried for me to reconsider, but it's something I cannot live by. I am saddened by this event and how our relationship ended, but I can't imagine being suffocated by her parents, questioning our decisions and running our lives. Also, I put so much into this relationship, trying to set a good foundation to build a family, but this just wasn't going to work with the way things are. Please know that I'm a good guy and was raised with good values I gotten from my parents. I don't have any sort of addiction, gambling, alcohol, or any issues. I was raised to know what a man role is in a family, and I live by it. I also feel hurt because if you're the man of your household, you need your wife's support, whether right or wrong. She should always support him regardless, and I do the same for her, but in this situation, I felt alone, as if I was the only one fighting for us and our family that we're trying to build. Hope you know what I mean when I say this. Update. Also, since the breakup, we've sat down multiple times the past week and went over what had happened. She thinks this is not anything big to end our relationship over, and thinks that I was actually being rude to her parents. My response? Speechless. I didn't say anything else after that and just listened most of the time when we had a conversation. Update number 2. Hi all, I took some time off. I spent most of the day reading all the comments and the next few days after that processing and evaluating everyone's advices, opinions, point of view. During my time off, my ex and I did talk completely for almost 2 weeks. Then she called and asked if we could talk some more. She started out the conversation by apologizing to me on how she was inconsiderate of the situation I was put in. As for my reasoning, actions, she didn't get why I took things so seriously with what her parents said at first, since for her it was normal, and it's something she's grown accustomed to her entire life, so she could not see things from my perspective until given some time for her to think and process it. She knows that I was just trying to set boundaries, and that her parents have crossed the line, which is something no one that's been in her life ever did before. Then we talked about the pros and cons of our relationship, and she cried and says she still wants us to be together and wants to work things out. After letting her finish, I explained to her that I had no intention of being disrespectful to her parents, since I know how much she loves her family, and I went on about how she'll handle future situations. For example, I asked if this sort of thing happened in the future, how would she handle it? She says that if her parents want to get involved, then she'll listen to what they have to say, and she'll talk to me about it after, and reassured me that she'll not put me in the same situation that she put me in before. She agrees that we should be making our own decisions, and she can share whatever it is with her parents and listen to their opinions, but the financial decision will be up to us. And she does agree there are things that are kept private and do not discuss with her parents. It's an uncharted territory for her, but it's something she understands, as it's obviously causing problems for us. I was thinking to myself during our break, she took some time to process things and really reflect and see what was happening and what needs to be changed, done. Obviously, I still love her, and during that time, I too did a lot of reflecting, of how things could have been different, and what I could have done, and so on. She did not give up on me, and I don't want to give up on her, as she's still fighting for us. I felt we grew stronger during our time apart, especially her. The fact that she initiated our meeting and came to me makes me think that she really thought things through, and she was really sincere about everything she said. So, after our conversation, I told her let's sleep on it, and meet up for lunch the next day, 4/28. After our lunch, I told her I didn't want to be with anyone else, and I never thought about being with anyone else, and she said she felt the same. So, we're going to give it another try, this time with boundaries set in place for her parents. Wow, this has been the longest 2 months of my life. I'm glad things worked out the way they did, but I wouldn't want to go through this again. It was hell. At the same time, this made me feel we got stronger as a couple, and anything was possible. Update number 3. It's been a little more than a month since we gave it another go, and nothing changed. In fact, things got worse. First couple of days started out fine. I thought things were going good, but I don't know. She keeps on bringing up how I should just go apologize to her parents and just make them happy so we can settle this. I told her I didn't do anything wrong, and that I thought we already had a clear understanding. When this conversation went south, since I didn't want to give in and apologize for something I shouldn't, she gave me the cold shoulder. Then communication went south. I am stressed out with work as it is, and the drama her parents and partially her caused me in the last 4 months is really putting a strain on my physical and emotional health. So, as of today, we decided it was best to part ways. I can't understand why she even convinced me to give us another try in the first place, if her plan was to force me to apologize to her parents and that would somehow solve everything. Well, It was a good thing I was hitting the gym, or else I would have been going crazy. Where do I begin? This is a lot. I love my sister so much. We are 2 years apart. When we were younger, our mom left us, and she was pretty much all I had for emotional support growing up. She got married and got pregnant right out of high school. She has been married for 10 years. They had their issues over the years, but nothing out of the ordinary. She started acting a little off about 2 years ago. She got pregnant with her second and started having really bad postpartum. Just all around acting very odd, almost like obsessed with herself. She wouldn't put her phone down, didn't want to watch her kids. She would make her husband watch her children, do all the housework, while she would spend hours taking selfies. You couldn't really ask her or bother her to lift a finger. She had been a big Christian for a long time, but suddenly was into witchcraft. She would start behaving and sounding like whoever she was around at the time. Just very, very different behavior from her usual. Around summertime, she told me her and her husband were going to counseling because they were having marital issues to work through. We tell each other everything, so I didn't think it was a big deal because she never expressed to me that she was having any type of major problems. I have gone to marital counseling for normal marriage bickering, etc., so I honestly didn't think too much of it. I know she was struggling with postpartum and was taking medication and going to counseling for that as well. 3 months into their marriage counseling, she asks her husband for her dream car, which he goes and buys on his mother's credit. They have really bad credit and couldn't buy it in their name, so we assume marriage counseling was going good. 2 weeks after the purchase, my brother-in-law finds out my sister flew to another state earlier in the year and had an affair. The guy she had an affair with used to work with her. His parents are big-time illegal prescription D dealers known in the area. I was obviously shocked. I had so many questions. She told me that her marriage had been over for years and that they hadn't had half of the marriage, which was shocking because she just had a baby 2 years ago. A lot just didn't add up. I also found out that she was pregnant and got rid of the baby in January of 2017. Her and husband apparently had an oopsie. She got pregnant and they were concerned they couldn't afford another child. My brother-in-law told her they could make it work, but ultimately it was her decision and she chose not to keep the baby. So after the news of the affair, my brother-in-law is still willing to make things work. However, my sister claims she is in love and has been in love with this new guy for years. She admitted this to me and my family a couple days after she told us that she didn't care about the new guy she had an affair with. He was just a distraction. And she only slept with him so her husband would indefinitely leave her alone and divorce her. Clearly, my sister hasn't been telling me as much about her life as I thought, which is very hurtful because in my mind, I thought we were best friends all along since birth. I thought we were sharing everything with each other. I constantly catch her in lies now. Nothing out of her mouth makes much sense. I know she is clearly going through some kind of trauma to be lashing out this way. For whatever reason, counseling doesn't seem to be helping her. Okay, so this was all 6 months ago. Her divorce is final as of last week. Her boyfriend moved from whatever state he lived in to our state. She moved into her boyfriend's apartment last month. She has her children sleeping in her bed with Guy. All 4 of them together, which is crazy to me. She has a daughter who is 8 years old, sleeping in bed with her and a random stranger. My niece has already expressed to me that this guy makes her uncomfortable. I have addressed it with both my sister and her ex-husband as a problem. I mean, in 6 months, this girl has gone from sleeping in bed with her mom and dad to living in a beat-down apartment on a strange bed with a strange guy. She said she talked to her daughter and that the reason this guy makes her uncomfortable is because he makes her get off her iPhone and actually talk to him. Like, I kind of feel like she even talks about her daughter negatively because she's not feeling this guy. This is super distressing for me. Literally keeps me up at night. I don't know what to do. My sister now basically acts like nothing has happened and had resumed her life with boyfriend as usual. I have expressed to her that I don't have an interest in meeting him. Like, this is all so much. She should not be in a relationship in the mental state she is in. She just got out of a 10-year relationship that she just threw away. How can I take it seriously? Obviously, I feel like my sister spearheaded the affair, but I don't know that I can really respect her boyfriend in this situation either. She has told me that after her she figured out that she wants to have a 3rd child with this man now. I have told her honestly that this is just all too much and she needs to not jump into anything. However, she hates me for it. She wants me to act like this is totally normal. She keeps being shady and doing very hurtful things just because I won't accept her boyfriend. She invited her boyfriend to one of my friend's child's birthday parties, knowing I didn't want to meet him. She didn't invite me to her birthday party because he was there. She didn't invite me to my niece's or nephew's birthday parties. She won't tell me anything about her life. It's kind of like if I don't accept her new man, she just won't have me in her life. She hasn't actually uttered those words, but she's definitely acting them out. I just don't know what to do anymore. I love my sister. I want to help her and have her in my life. I just don't know what the right Christian thing to do is. She is in counseling, but it doesn't seem to be working. I'm concerned for my niece and nephew. I just need advice.